the time period.
Hello, we're live. We're talking about lightsabers. I hope we're on Garblight Games. We are on Garblight Games. Okay, good.
We
Not the
are in
Free League
Godblade
channel.
Games.
Because that would have been. Well, I've never done that before.
Never, never.
So, welcome everybody. I know this is not our usual production values. You're looking at a Zoom call, but we are. Because that would have been. I've never. I can hear myself on somebody's.
Not anymore.
Okay. Please don't make me hear myself. Yeah, we're doing character creation. We're doing session 0 stuff for Star Wars. We're gonna do like a little bit of a it's not gonna be like a regular thing. It'll be a once a month kind of game where we can play here and there. Star Wars, the Fantasy Flight one. We're taking all the books, we're mashing them together. We're gonna play in the Dark Times era between episode 3 and 4. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some shenanigans. We're gonna start with character creation today. So everybody's gonna start going through the characters. I'll ask them questions as we're doing it. I'll help everybody through character creation. We'll do it as a group. And we'll have everybody come together. Everyone so far has a concept for what they want to make. Roger, what's your concept?
So my concept is it's a Mandalorian, former Death Watch, but one of the ones that sided with Bo-Katan during the uprising against Darth Maul when he took over. Spoilers for anyone that's not seen much of Clone Wars. And yeah, that's kind of where I'd got to so far.
Okay. I thought it was cool. I discovered, like, I had the books for like a couple years now, the one with the Death Watch in it. And I know it was in the Clone Wars TV show, and I never put two together. But then once they revealed it on Mandalorian that he was part of the Death Watch, I was like, oh, I have the stuff to build that if I want to in this game. They've already provided everything you need to make a Death Watch character, which is cool.
Courtesy of this book.
Yeah.
All that did was camouflage you into your
just
background.
send it in.
The Collapse of the Republic sourcebook.
I'd say Collapse of the Republic, Rise of the Separatists, and Dawn of the Rebellion are like must-own supplements for this game. If you're going to own any supplements, I would buy those 3, personally.
And I have one of those, and 2 of them are showing up this afternoon.
And you're making a character out of one of them, aren't you?
Yeah.
So
In classic Betamax tradition, I have the saga rules for Star Wars and about 8 books therein, and none of the FFG ones.
None of the FFG.
No, I have the little square ones, whatever they're called. Are they the saga ones?
The saga.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Saga. The TSR, or I don't know what Wizards at that time. But well, speaking of the book you're using, Aaron, what's your character concept that you've got?
So I am going with a retired clone trooper named ZX because that was his identification, ZX. He was a clone trooper commando, worked closely in a small unit during the entire Clone Wars, was very close with the Jedi that they worked with. The Jedi saved his life. He'd saved the Jedi's life. However, he was injured right before Order 66 came out, and he was actually in an infirmary when the chips clicked over, and he lost his own agency, and he felt that happen and the desire to execute Order 66, and it made him furious and sick. But after a couple of days, because like I said, he was laid up, he was able to not override the programming, but get a little bit more grip on himself. And at gunpoint, he forced a medic to cut that chip out of his head. And ever since then, he deserted immediately. As soon as he found out that his unit actually did kill their Jedi. And ever since then, he has blamed not only Palpatine, but the Kaminoan people as the agents of the destruction of the Republic, and has sought to bring them down at every step.
Well, this is going to be awkward. Ben, can you tell us about what you're playing?
Yeah, that's going to be a neat little segue because I am
Fun
playing
redemption.
one of the Kaminoan people. Yes, I'm going to play a clone of some of the genetic material from Sulaway and Kinaha, a Force-sensitive Kaminoan.
Yes, so we're going to have a Jedi. Quasi-Jedi. There's lots of options. I don't know if you don't have all the books, but there's like Force adherence and failed Padawans and like Force sensitive, or there's full-on Jedis. There's all sorts of options for you. with your Jedi. All right. Well, we've got our basic party put together. So let's open up our character sheets and let's start building here. There's kind of an order to character creation in this. The book suggests starting with your obligations and things like that. Nah, we'll do that later because it'll give you more experience spend. What I like to do is start with your species that you're going to play as. So if you open up the items directory on the top right hand corner, if you hover over, it looks like a little open book. That's not it. I lied. If you go to
It's a briefcase.
the briefcase, the items directory, thank you. You'll see the species.
Oh, is that what that is? I thought it was like a little building.
I think it's a briefcase. I mean,
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than
sense.
the little building.
Unless it's... Oh, yeah, it makes way more sense. There should be a species folder. Can you guys all see that? Or do I need to share? Okay, so if you expand that, all of the official species from all of the books are in there. If you drag and drop the one you want to play onto your character sheet, it'll automatically fill in your base characteristics for you, your pluses and minuses and bonuses and all that. Yeah, and then we'll go from there. It does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, which is nice.
Yeah.
That is really nice.
The reason it's in here is because there's a character creator online called Ogdudes, and it basically has all this information in it. So what they did was they took that character creation tool and uploaded all the information to Foundry. So like all the gears in here, all the NPCs, all the species, all the careers.
That is awesome.
So people watching at home, this is nothing illegal. This is all available free out there on the internet. Otherwise, it would be stripped of Foundry. If you're wondering how we're making this so easy. Okay, so we got our species. So it should have filled in your brawn, your agility, your intellect, cunning, and all that good stuff. Next thing is to then select your career. And again, you can drag and drop it over to your character sheet. I want to check something here. Did it
I don't think it's got all of them.
Oh, is it missing some? Is Deathwatch missing? No.
Quite a lot of them are missing.
Oh, yeah, there's like nothing there.
Well, I think the careers are the base ones, right? And then you get into specializations. And I think Deathwatch is a specialization.
Oh, yeah.
You are correct.
Yeah.
And like, Deathwatch is not in there, so you're going to have to do it custom, Roger. You have to add the information yourself, which is fine.
So like Clone Soldier is my career, but my specialization is going to be retired.
I'll tell you what. I have retired Clone Soldier in here, Aaron, and let me see if I can share it so you can see it. And if you drag and drop it on your character, you should be able to use that. Do you see it at the bottom now? Like if you collapse the menus, you should see a retired Clone Trooper entry down there. Oh, no, that's just the talent tree. Never mind. You're going to have to enter it on your own.
Sure, no worries. I got it up.
So when you select your career, there's going to be 8 skills. 8 career skills, correct me if I'm wrong, listed next to those. And what you want to do is you want to check... Oh, it actually filled it in for me. So if your career is in there and you drag it over, it's going to put little checks in there. But you're going to see a box that says CS next to all the skill names. You want to click those. That means career skill. And click your 8 career skills that the book or the game tells you to. Or if it's in here, you just drag and drop it. It'll do it for you.
I only have 6.
6? Is it 6? Let me look here. I swear I reread this before we started.
It's 8 for, maybe it's only 6 for force.
I've got 4
for career skills.
Yeah.
Which book are you in?
No, I think those are your specializations.
Yeah, yes. Collapse of the Republic.
Yeah, specializations are 4, and you get to choose 2. Bear with me here.
So do I choose
CS
career
and career skills? I've only got 6 things ticked.
So during this step of character creation, the player may choose 4 of the 8 career skills. So you should have 8 career skills. Which career did you take, Ben?
I took Jedi.
Is that enforced?
Maybe you get some from specialization. Maybe it's 8 once you add your specialization. I don't know.
No, you should be an additional on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bear with me here.
Like maybe the Mandalorian specialization would fall under soldier or gunslinger.
Jedi's page 24 of Rise of the Separatists. Thankfully, I have this book handy.
I mean, there's a lot of Jedi skills or careers. There's a whole book of them.
So the Jedi Oh, you do only have 6, Ben, which is interesting. So Jedi 6 career skills are athletics, cool, discipline, knowledge, lore, lightsaber, and piloting space. Is that what checked off for you?
Athletics, cool, discipline, piloting space, lightsaber, and lore. Yep.
Excellent. So you now get to choose a specialization from there. So you've got like Padawan, Knight. There's a lot. Oh, Force sensitive outcast. That's a whole nother one.
See, I don't know what the best ones to go for here are because obviously I don't have the books. I'm looking for someone who's not really a Jedi per se, but they're cloned and they've been trained watching videos of Jedi. So the Kaminoans making this sort of person on the sly and sort of showing them videos of the Jedi at work. Now, there is that one Kaminoan Jedi from the comics who is a master, but they won't have done any of the training on this character yet. I think this character is basically a clone of Sula Wei.
We've got
a few edits
options if we want to stick with like era specific books. So like the Force sensitive outcast might be cool. That's where like you're Force sensitive, but you've not received any training either by choice or by someone else's decision. So you're
that or possibly the emergent, maybe.
Yep. There's the Force.
I don't know, what's the difference there?
The emergent. What book is that in?
That's
Age
that's
of
more.
Rebellion.
That's more like from Rogue One, the guy that was the Force aesthetic. He wasn't really a Force user, but he was.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
the blind guy. So
that's the emergent.
Yeah, he's tuned in with the Force, but he's not a Jedi.
But you think Force sensitive outcast? Oh yeah, uncanny reactions.
That might be like it fits your concept of your character. And why you also wouldn't have received training per se.
Yeah.
And also fits the timeline. Because Jedi are openly hunted and killed by Inquisitors in the timeline that we're playing.
So she's not going to be a Jedi, but a Force-sensitive outcast with pretensions of becoming a Jedi.
Yes. All right.
That works for me.
So
okay, I have added that as my specialization, Force-sensitive outcast.
Perfect. You're player 3. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that looks good.
I took Bounty Hunter with the specialization of Death Watch Warrior.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. Okay, so you get to select. So those of you who have, 8 career skills, you get to choose 4, and you can put 1 rank in 4 of them. And for your specialization skills, because you get skills also, based off your specialization, you get to choose 3 of those to put a single point into. Now, none of your starting skills can have more than 2 ranks in them at character creation.
Oh, hang on. Did I miss a step there? So I've got all my career skills in. Do I need to up any of them or just tick them?
You get 4 out of the 8. You can get 1.4.
I see. And
what about if I've only got 6? Do I pick 4 out of 6 or is it 3 out of 6?
3 out of 6 for your Jedi. So you get to put a single point in 3 of your career skills if you're a Jedi, 4 if you're not a Jedi. And then there's also going to be specialization skills that will bump up also. But let's do our career skills first. So you get to choose 4 or 3 depending on what you took, and you get to put a single point into 4 of them of the 8. Does that make sense?
Yep. So I've put a point in athletics, a point in discipline, and a point in lore.
Very good. Did the little dice change?
Yes, and they've changed to little yellow pentacles.
Very good.
12-siders.
It'll make sense when we play. Also, the game tells you, it spits out what the roll is, so you don't have to figure that out. Here, I'll show you in the. Oh, they're on the.
Huh, nice.
So it'll tell you 1 success and 2 advantage. It does all the work for you. You don't need to figure out the symbols and all that good stuff, but we can learn them over time. Okay, so how are we doing with that? Is everybody good with their career skills?
Yep, I put 1 in vigilance, 1 in brawl, 1 in range heavy, and 1 in discipline.
Nice. That reminds me. So
yes, I've got both. I've got piloting planetary, piloting space, ranged heavy, and 1 in perception.
very good. So this reminds me also. So there's like what, 1 stat that is tied to 2 stats are tied to initiative. Roger, you play this regularly. It's cool and vigilance, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's vigilance if you're prepared for a fight, and cool if you're
cool
not.
if you're surprised.
Okay, very good. So keep that in mind too when you're buying skills and points like that. If you want to have a better roll when it comes to initiative, cool and vigilance are the 2 skills that are tied to that. Okay, so we've done that. So next we select our specializations. Some of you have your specializations in the game, some of you don't. So we're gonna have to refer to the books for some of these.
It's all right. Lucky I've got about 30 of them behind me.
So the decommissioned or retired clone troopers' specialization skills are discipline, knowledge, warfare, ranged heavy, ranged light, resilience, and vigilance.
Very good. And make sure those are also marked off on your character sheet as career skills.
Got it.
It's important to keep track of that because those are going to be cheaper to buy and increase as you go through the game and you get experience. So it's always important to make sure you've marked off which one are career skills and specialization skills.
Does that change what I need to do then with the force sensitive outcasting? Do I add some for that?
Force sensitive outcast, you get. Why does it not list any for you?
Well, this is exciting. I'm the everyman that the person telling the story has to explain things for the audience. It's like being Neo.
Yeah.
Interesting. You do not gain any. Which, I'm just looking at it here.
Does it get extra experience points or something?
Yeah, force powers.
Yeah, that's always nice.
I mean, that is quite, the ability to use them is quite useful.
It just says that you gain you gain a force rating of 1, but if you already have a force rating of 1, then it does not increase. It's bizarre that yours does not.
You know why I bet it is though, because that doesn't come out of Force and Destiny, right? That comes out of Edge of Empire, where nobody has a force rating. So that's probably why.
It's Rise of the Separatists. This one.
But that's based off of Edge
Egil
of Empire,
says
right?
the force character gets the extra skills as talents in the tree.
Thank you.
Oh.
Beautiful. I appreciate it. We haven't done a lot of Jedi characters.
Yeah, I swear Egil just knows the rules of every RPG.
Okay, so we've got our specialization skills. So for this one, there should be 4 skills for those of you who have them. And you get to select 2. So go ahead and put a single point in 2 more. It can be one that you already selected if it overlaps. So say you got ranged heavy as a retired clone trooper and you got ranged heavy as a whatever, like if it doubles
I
up.
read this, but you can't go over 2 at character creation.
Exactly.
Correct.
So you can put another point into another skill if it overlaps with what you got in your careers, but it can't go over 2.
Sorry, that was a real Dora the Explorer moment there, wasn't it?
Okay, so we've got our careers. We've got our specializations.
And your species gives you a couple of skills, right? Mine auto-populated in on my character sheet, but
yeah,
I get some options, but
again, mine did not.
That's why I thought maybe they might not have for everybody. So I thought I'd point that out because it's like you get like 2 extra skill points. A human's gonna just pick them, but like for the clone trooper, it was automatically knowledge, warfare, and resilience.
Oh, jeez. Do I have the book with the Camino people in them?
Fully operational source book, page 14 of Rise of the Separatists.
I have Rise of the Separatists.
All okay, there you go. It's page 14, Rise of the Separatists.
I have it in front of me.
Forge is such a good system because even when it doesn't have the actual answers, it tells you where to find them.
Mm-hmm.
Foundry, even.
So you begin the game with 1 rank in medicine, Ben.
Okay. Yep, I've got that.
And 1 rank in research or talent, which will be on your talent tree, which is on the talent tree.
Okay. talents. I'm not seeing any.
Researcher. That's interesting. If you search under the briefcase, type in researcher. Does it pop up? It does. Drag and drop that onto your character sheet. It's passive. It doesn't tell you what it does. You have to go to the core book to find it. That's how you also get around having this stuff in there. It doesn't actually give you the rules. You have to own the books to read what they
Page
actually do.
141 of Age of Empire, 154 of Age of Rebellion, or 150 of Force and Destiny.
So go ahead and drag and drop that onto your character sheet.
Yep, have done.
You're also expressionless. You add a black die to all charm checks that you make. Other characters have to add a black die to all social checks they make when targeting you. So you're really hard to read because you.
Where does that go? How do I find that?
It's going to be situational. I don't think
Okay.
that's going to be searchable. And you can put it on your character sheet. We'll just
So
have
what'd
to
you say it
remember
was called? I'll put it in the biography.
Expressionless. You've got dead eyes, Ben.
They're a nice color.
Jet black. All right. So we've done that part, right? Everybody's got their species. You've done your species bonuses and abilities and all that good stuff.
Yep.
So your species is also going to list your wound threshold. For those of you that it's in the game, you're able to drag and drop. It should have done it for you. Like, for example, yours, Ben, with being from Camino, it's 9 plus your brawn. So it took your brawn.
What's this?
Your wounds.
Wounds.
It should have done it automatically on your
Yep,
character.
so I have
should have
wounds
done
of
that for you.
10.
It'll do your strain threshold. So strain is like stress, and you can expel strain freely in combat. And after combat, you get to
Or
roll
fatigue.
to get rid of strain. It's actually a really cool mechanic, and it allows you to really push yourself when you get into combat and do extra things. I like that. So that'll automatically go for you. But now you get starting experience based off of your species that you select. So Ben, you get 100 experience to start. Does it tell Roger and Aaron what you
10.
start with?
I get 105.
105.
And clones get 100.
All right. Now,
Where do you put XP on it?
that is a great question.
I
If you
don't
click
see
on
it.
biography, it's going to be in the
Biography,
bottom left-hand corner. So you're going to want to.
Thanks
It's another important thing. You need to track your experience, even if you spent it. You need to track your total experience in this game because it matters.
Yep.
It all matters. All right, this is where it can get a little confusing. So I shared out some cheat sheets for character creation earlier. We're gonna buy more skills. We're gonna spend our experience that we have here. Where's my cheat sheet? I printed it out. So if you look at that cheat sheet, you have some options here now. You can increase a characteristic. So those are your base stats: brawn, agility, intellect, cunning, willpower, presence. Typically, those numbers never change in this game. When you get to the bottom of a talent tree, that's usually when you can bump one of them up, but it's very rare and it's very hard to do. So you can spend 10 times the current rating to bump it up by 1. So like say you have a 2 in there right now, you'd spend 20 to bump it up to a 30. Oh no, the purchase
So
price,
it costs
you
all
spend
of my
30.
XP to put my wounds up. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean? I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, brawn, agility, intellect, cunning, willpower,
Yeah, it's
presence.
those ones. So it costs you 30.
Your wounds
So-
will go up by 1.
So if you have a 2 in brawn and you want to bump it up to a 3, it'll cost you
With you.
30 of your 100 experience or 110 or 105 or whatever that looks like.
Yep.
If you want to increase skill ranks, it's 5 times the purchased rank. But that's for career specialized skills. If it's a non-career rank, you have to add an additional 5 experience onto that. So it'd be 5 times plus 5. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And again, these can't go above 2 at character creation. None of your skills can go above it. So it's cheaper to buy career skills than it is non-career skills.
What
You can
about
also buy
talents?
talents off your talent tree. This is where it's going to get tricky for you, Ben, without having the book in front of you because you can't see your talent tree.
The talent trees do show up if you look them up on the specializations. I
Okay.
think.
So there is experience numbers next to all of your talents, so you can buy talents at character creation then. And the last thing is new specializations. So you can buy into multiple careers. Because if you look at the characters in Star Wars, like Luke Skywalker's not just a Jedi. He's a Jedi and he's a pilot. Han Solo's not just a scoundrel. He's a smuggler, a scoundrel. He's a bit of a gambler. Like all the characters in Star Wars, they're not locked into one archetype. So you can buy more specializations at any point. You don't have to do it at character creation. You can buy into those at any time, and you can branch out, and that gives you access to the other talent trees and such. So your characters are able to grow in this game, and not just be like, I'm a Jedi, and that's all that defines you as a character. You can change over time, which is cool. But I don't know if I would do that at character creation. Just this is your one chance to increase those base stats. So you might, I'm just saying, as someone who's played this game, you might want to bump up the ones that are important to you. And
what does dedication mean? Because it looks like it's an important one.
Where is that?
134 of Edge of Empire. Is that like an essential Jedi thing? Because it sounds like an essential Jedi thing.
134.
Or 145 of Age of Rebellion.
Are these talents?
Yeah.
Are those general talents? Or are they... Because
dedication. That's the one that ups your stats. That's the one.
That's at the very bottom of it. Yep.
Yeah, they're always right at the end of the talent tree.
Oh, okay, so that's the bottom of the talent tree. Right, the talent trees go down, not across.
Yeah, down.
Down, yeah. You work your way down the flow chart.
I see. Okay, with you.
So you start at the top where they're all crappy and really cheap, and you work your way down.
Yep.
So this is where you get to spend your experience. The way rolling works in this game is, so you're going to roll a skill, and you're going to look at what you have in that skill, the skill rating, compared to the characteristic that it's tied to. So, for example, I'm looking at ranged heavy. Ranged heavy is an agility-based roll. I'm looking at Roger's character, which has 4 points, so it takes whatever your score is, your base score in that characteristic, which is a 4, and you've also put 1 extra point in it. So you've essentially got 5, and you take a look at the two numbers, or no, you don't have. That's 1. Sorry, I'm getting.
No,
confused.
it's the highest number of your stat or skill is the number of green dice.
So you've got an agility
number
of 4,
you change to yellow,
and you've got a ranged heavy of 1, right? So you roll the number of dice equal to whichever one's higher. And then, yes, if you have points left over from whichever one's lower, that upgrades the die type. It'll make sense when we play, if you haven't played this before.
You'll pick it up very quickly. It's really straightforward. And
it is. It's confusing with the different dice and colors and all that to start. I was really confused the first time I played it. But yes, you take the higher of the two, and then the points that are basically left over, you minus the higher from the lower, to put it in perspective, and you upgrade that many number of dice.
And the more sides the dice has got, the stronger the dice is. So
yes.
Yellow is the strongest of the good dice, and red is the strongest of the bad.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see from the little icons. So yellows are D12s, greens are D8s. And then you've got blues, which are D6s.
The higher your base characteristic is in the stuff you want to be good at, kind of means the less you're going to have to spend in skills to start. Like over time, you're probably going to put more into those skills to get it up, but it'll be easier to be better at more things by having higher points in your base stats or characteristics. Because it'll cost you skill points later to go over that. If that makes sense.
Okay, so if I, for example, have just put 20 points into talents, that would drop me down to 80 XP.
Correct.
And then I should really spend those in characteristics.
That's 10 times the purchased rating.
Yep.
Or if you're going to buy skill ranks, it's 5 times the purchased rank. If it's a career skill, if it's not a career skill, it's 5 times plus 5.
Now, what are good characteristics for a Jedi? Obviously, agility should be one. And how high can the characteristics go?
Yeah, it depends on what you want to go for.
I'm not going to be a social Jedi with that expressionless cold dead-eye fish stare thing.
Different specializations can use their different stats for lightsabers.
Right. Okay.
Like the Jedi I use in a different game is their specialization uses agility, So, and one of my things means I buy it as a talent, and I use agility to use my lightsaber rather than brawn. But it depends on the type of Jedi you want.
I think I definitely want to go with like more of an agility build than a brawn build, because have you ever seen a Kaminoan? Crikey. Can you imagine what a hench Kaminoan would look like?
There are builds that use cunning. I mean, there are builds that basically use any of the stats.
At the minute, my characteristics are 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2.
1, 2,
So my highest is intellect.
I think there are builds that use intellect. I'd have to look at the Force and Destiny book, but I'm pretty sure there are.
I'm also trying to find your tree. What book were we in?
Which one?
The one that Ben's playing as. The Outcast or whatever it was.
You say that's in Dawn of Rebellion?
It is in Rise of the Separatists. So your tree... I'm just looking at these things on your tree so that there's skills like... The first one is a vigilance roll. The next one is charm, coercion, or deception. So you might want to look at your tree and what your build is good at and maybe bump up some of those skills, as your talent tree is going to lean heavily into some of those. Like you'll see the same ones typically pop up over and over again.
That's where I've taken talents from. I've taken uncanny reactions, uncanny senses, and secrets of the Force.
Oh, Secrets of the Force is cool. Lightsaber becomes a career skill, so it's going to be cheaper for you to upgrade your lightsaber as you go through.
Okay, that's what we like.
A lightsaber does use brawn unless you get a talent that dictates otherwise.
You may want to increase your brawn, or you can just increase your lightsaber. It's whichever
you want. You can just increase your lightsaber.
Yeah, you don't have to be a big jacked Kaminoan.
Chamomile tea.
Chamomile tea. I like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Egil said I could go for Ceresu, but defense. Is it Mikashi's the double-handed swirly one, isn't it?
Depends.
So Ben, if you go down your character tree, so you go down, you're at Secrets of the Force, go down one more, it's Perry. To the left of Perry is Renegade Form. When this character purchases talent, they choose one characteristic. They may use this characteristic in place of brawn when making lightsaber checks. That's what Roger was talking about.
Okay. So I could use Renegade Form and boost one of my other stats in lieu of brawn, because
if you want to, or knowing. So that's the other thing in Star Wars that's kind of important, is kind of chart your character out, knowing like, okay, this is what I'm buying. I'm not going to increase my skills for my first couple buys. Instead, I'm going for my tree. So I know I need to save up experience for that. And then once you get down there, like, you can focus on all you want, knowing that you're going to eventually use agility or cunning or willpower, or whatever it is for your lightsaber.
Do I have to have grit and disorient before I can get Renegade Form?
Whatever steps are before it in
just
the tree, you have
Perry.
to.
Or can I get it direct from Perry?
You can get it direct from Perry. So see how it's connected with a line there? So you just got to go from Secrets of the Force down to Perry, from Perry over to Renegade Form. So
okay, cool.
You don't need to necessarily now boost up your brawn at character creation, knowing and charting out that you're going to use a different characteristic or base stat later on to be good at lightsabers. So keep in mind, we're level 1 characters. We're not great, right? We're going to get better with time. We'll work towards it.
What is good in terms of characteristics here? I mean, what's the scale on which we're working? I'm guessing 3 is better than average, 2 is average, and 1 is below average.
Yeah, and you can, in theory, go up to 5, but you would have to blow a lot of XP together.
And that would be sort of superhero, major character.
But you would then also be trash at everything else.
Yep.
So it is a balancing act. If you want to be really, really good at something, 4 is very strong.
Yeah.
If I want to boost my agility from 2 to 3, that would be
30.
2 times 10 is 20.
No, 30. It's what you go to.
It's what
you go to. Okay.
The purchased rating. So those of you who've joined us since we started, so we're making characters for Star Wars. We're using Fantasy Flight Games. We're going to do a semi-regular, probably once a month game here. We're doing character creation. We're going to do session 0 tonight. We're setting this during the dark times between episodes 3 and 4. And we've got a ragtag bunch. We've got a Death Watch Mandalorian, We've got a
Kaminoan.
No, thank you. From Camino, Jedi, force sensitive outcast, and we have a retired clone trooper. And we've got more joining us. We do have Jim, who's going to join us at some point during this, and we're trying to talk Pete into also playing with us when we do get this up and going. And he's hinted at a Gonk droid, which you could technically play as. You can play as droids in this. Gonk.
With skills, is it also the score that you're going towards?
Yes.
What do you mean, sir?
Yep.
So if I'm going from one
yes.
law to 2 law, it's 5 times 2, not 5 times 1.
Correct.
Okay.
I think it is 5 times the purchased rank. So whatever you're buying up to.
All right.
So if you're,
Well, I may buy a point of lightsaber then.
yeah.
5 times 0. Oh, times 1 is 5.
And if it's not one of your career ones, then you have to add an additional 5 experience onto that buy.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
And I've got 5 XP just kind of sat around then.
So you can save XP also, because you're going to, like, if you have leftover, don't feel like you need to spend it.
Or I could look at a talent.
You can buy talent. You can buy stuff later. It's good stuff. For those who have done purchasing their stuff, this is where I like to jump back to duty, morality, obligation, and we figure that out. So everybody starts the game. Well, we'll talk about our Death Watch character and our clone trooper. You start the game with 10 obligation. The beginning or prior to each session or the end of each session, I'll roll obligation to see if somebody's comes up. And it's going to then become part of the story next week. It's not going to be the main focus, but your obligation's going to come up, and whatever kind of trouble you're in or whoever you owe money to or whoever's after you is going to be part of that next session. I don't tell you that, it's a surprise. So you have an obligation score. Everybody starts at 10. Now you can choose to increase your obligation by 5 points, which will give you 5 more XP to spend, or 1,000 credits. You get to choose. Or you can increase your obligation by 10 points. So your starting obligation would then be 20, but you get 10 extra XP and 2,500 credits to start.
It's either or, though, right? XP or credits.
Yeah, it's XP or credits.
Now, keep in mind, the starting XP is really low. What is it, 200 credits or something? I thought I wrote it down.
Yeah, and you don't come. I don't think you come with any gear. I think you have
No,
to
you have to buy. Everything you want to carry with you, like weapons and armor and all that, you need to buy.
So if I were to add 5 obligation, I'd get 5 XP back.
So yours is a little different. So you have morality.
Of course it is.
Morality starts at 50. You're straddling the line between light and dark. Now you can choose an emotional strength and an emotional weakness. When you select those, you gain 10 XP, or you can take 2,500 credits, or you can split it. Yours is a little different. You can gain 5 XP and 1,000 credits.
Okay. So I don't start with any obligation, but I start with 50 morality instead.
So you start with 50 morality no matter what, but if you want that extra experience or credits, you can then spend emotional strength or choose an emotional strength or emotional weakness to do so.
So what would I have to do to get Beskar?
Well, you're going to work towards that, Roger. I'm not giving you Beskar armor out of the gate, but I was thinking, so if you buy like, what's the base one? Like Blast Shield armor or Blast Tech or whatever it is. If we look at Mandalorian, he starts with
you can have a Beskar keyring.
He starts with armor that looks like Mandalorian, but it's really just shit armor. Like it's falling apart. It's terrible. So I was thinking you could actually go for that. Like you could be wearing Blast Shield armor or whatever it's called. I can't remember what the base stuff's called. And it could look like Mandalorian armor, but at the end of the day, it's just like Mando's, right? Like it's shit. It's falling apart. The paint's chipping off. It's like in pieces.
Some kind of rubbish stormtrooper.
Yeah. And you can work your way towards Beskar armor.
So question, Matt.
Yes.
When I'm looking at the Collapse of the Republic and they're talking about clone soldiers, it says at the beginning of play, a starting clone soldier character may spend 1,000 credits of their starting fund to obtain Phase 2 clone trooper armor, a DC-15A blaster carbine,
that's really
or
good.
a pair of pistols and a combat knife and 3 frag grenades. So We're going with that, right? Because
That's really good. Yes. Yes.
That's
Okay.
insanely good.
Yeah.
so I'm taking. So I'll be taking the 10-point obligation for the credits. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, Phase 2 Clone Trooper armor is as good as Beskar.
No, is it really?
Yeah,
close.
it's the same stats in game.
Wow.
So that was 2,000. So I got 2,200 credits.
Is the
and I
phase
just
2 even
dropped
in here? I just see
1,000.
phase clone armor. I don't know if phase 2 is in here.
It's in Collapse of the Republic.
Oh, I meant like in game to like drag and drop on there. I see ARC
Oh.
Trooper armor and I see just phase 1 clone trooper armor. I don't see phase 2. You'll have to
I
put in
could
the stats on
maybe
your own.
make the changes. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good.
Oh no, sorry. Phase 2 Arc Trooper armor is as good as Beskar.
Oh, phase 2 ARC Trooper. Okay. Which is really good if people are familiar with the ARC Troopers.
ARC troopers are horrendous, though, aren't they?
Arc Troopers are, they're the elites.
They're the best of the best. They're the Navy SEALs of the clone army. Okay, I'm looking at your morality here, Ben, because we're gonna get back to this. Because I have a feeling you're not gonna straddle the line at 50-50. You're gonna choose one or the other, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of want to play the character as a little bit of a naive blank slate at the start.
Yeah.
But based on Kaminoan intellectual understanding of what Jedi might mean. So it can be entirely flawed.
So how much money, sorry, do you get for 10 obligation?
2,000 credits.
Ugh,
That's
not
a
enough
lot.
for a jetpack.
Not enough for a jetpack.
You might have Roger in your Star Wars game if
Beskar out of the gate.
Beskar and a
And
jetpack.
a jetpack.
Hey, you want a lightsaber? I want Beskar and a jetpack.
Totally fair. So at the minute, Matt, I've got 5 XP left.
Okay. So I'm just reading through your morality here because I'm not as familiar with it as the obligation. So you start at 50. I'm in the actual
Yep.
rule book for this. And if you choose, so you can plus 10 to starting experience,
Yep.
or plus 2,500, or plus 5 and plus 1,000. By doing so, does that make sense? Increase or decrease the PC's starting morality by 21. This gives the PC the option of beginning with a morality of 29 or a morality of 71.
Which way do I want it to go?
Yeah, so 29 is good. That's the light side of the
Okay.
force. 71 is the dark side.
Dark
And-
side.
And this will change as we play. Like you'll go up and down that line.
Right, so I'm going to go to 29 morality, light side. What does that get me in terms of XP?
That gives you the plus 10 starting XP.
Plus 10 starting XP. So I've got an additional 15 XP that I'm sat on at the minute. Okay.
All right. And we're doing. And is everybody else, you're good? You're buying your gear and all that good stuff?
Yep.
Just having a look. I can't afford much in the way of armor. It's
No.
expensive.
I always
So I could buy one non-career skill, basically.
I always took the extra experience or the extra credits whenever I played like a shooty type character, just so I can buy armor because armor is so expensive out of
Yeah,
the gate.
you can't buy much though.
No, you can't. Meanwhile, we got phase 2 clone trooper over here.
Hey. I read that as soon as you started talking to me about, hey, maybe look at that clone trooper specialty. I was like, let me read about that. I was like, ooh, that sounds pretty tasty.
Is that part of the retired clone trooper, or is that just the clone species?
Standard loadout for any clone
Oh, that's
trooper.
awesome.
Okay,
What-
so I'm taking the 10 obligation to get the 2,000 credits because I do need some gear.
I think I'm
Yeah.
going to drop my law back down to 1 and get that 30 points back. Because that's a lot of points.
Yeah, this is why. So they typically suggest doing obligations and morality and all that at the top, and I like saving it for last after you've spent all of your experience
Mhm.
and you know you want to buy more. And that's when you're tempted to take the extra obligation or whatever to get that extra experience. Yeah, I love clone troopers also. I played a retired clone trooper in my previous game, just like Aaron is.
It's going to be fun.
They're so good.
So I am going to put my brawn up to 2 because 1 is asking for trouble.
It is, because that's also based off your wound, or your wounds based off that, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay. So
It's
my wound
derivative
threshold
of your
should
brawn.
go up
Yeah.
because it's still showing at 10.
Okay. We also get to start with a ship as part of character creation. I know we don't have a dedicated pilot or anything like that, but we do get to select a
I
starting
can
ship.
fly.
Oh yeah. You have planetary or
Both
space? Excellent.
space and planetary. I've got both.
All right.
I
so
have
the-
it as a class skill, but no ranks in it.
Well, I'm a bounty hunter, so I'd imagine I needed to fly around, so I bought the pilot skill.
So the book suggests 3 ships to start with.
3 ships.
Select one of the 3.
Okay.
Selecting a ship. So
I'll take the
YT
One
Death Star.
each.
YT 1300, which is the Millennium Falcon,
Millennium Falcon.
a fire spray system patrol craft, which is Slave 1,
Slave 1.
Mm-hmm.
and then the Wayfarer medium transport, which I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just going to turn that page. Okay.
Wayfarer medium transport.
I'm a bit biased towards
that's a
the
set
fire
of
spray, but-
classes.
What are you biased towards? The fire spray? You want the Slave
Yeah.
1? We got Boba Fett Jr. over here.
Oh god, that is ugly.
The Wayfarer?
The Wayfarer is just but ugly. It's like a cargo bay with a ship wrapped around it.
I mean, I think my favourite of the ships is the YT 2400, but we don't have one of those.
Oh yeah. I like the 2400.
They're so
That's
cool.
smooth. They are.
I mean, I think Slave 1 is ugly too. So it's
I do too.
But- a YT 1300 is just predictable.
2400, is that Dash Rendar's Outrider? The 2400?
Can't remember.
So those are options to start. I thought I saw somewhere also a squad of Y-Wings, but no, I must have read that somewhere else. So you get to
So
choose
that's
one
the
of those.
Wayfarer. I've just shared the Wayfarer in our little chat window on
I saw it.
Zoom.
It's ugly.
That is a butt
I-
ugly ship.
I think you should take that one just because it's so ugly.
You know, I'm quite happy going with Roger's choice. Oh yeah, God, that is horrible.
So
It looks like a garbage truck, a flying garbage truck.
It is.
Yeah, we're not taking one of those. That is awful.
it says
I would say
alternatively,
I'd say the YT or the fire spray personally.
alternatively, the GM could allow you to select your own ship, but it can't cost more than 120,000 credits. Now, there's a
How much is
lot of
YT
books with a lot of.
2400.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
how
I
much
think
is
we
the-
should do that because the Fire Spray and the Millennium Falcon, they're so predictable.
Yeah, that's what people
Hang on.
want.
I have the Starships and Speeders book. Let's have a gander.
How many credits do we have for the ship?
120,000.
Oh, we cannot get a YT 2400. It's 130,000.
Of
Oh.
course it is.
Oh, what was there was one we called it the tree frog. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, I like that one. It looks like a frog, kind of.
Yes.
I can't remember. It's got
That
the
was what
cockpit
my
at the very
players had
front.
in the Star Wars game that I did. They had a ship called the Tree Frog, and they loved that little ship so much so they actually painted it green.
Or a frog. Or I'm thinking of one that almost looks like a turtle if you look at this shape. What is that one? I always liked that one. I think that was the one that you got in the old D6 Star Wars game. It's the Class 720 Freighter is what I'm thinking of. Galactic Industries 720 Freighter. Basically, it looks like a turtle.
Yes, that was it. The Tree
That's it?
Frog.
Okay. I like that one. I think
I
it's
like
got-
that one.
It's got
What's
charm.
it? What's it called again? Well,
It is a
Good Truck
cla-
720 light freighter.
I quite like that. The Hawk, the HWK 290 light freighter. They're kind of cool.
We're gonna have to. You're gonna owe somebody though. money for this ship, whatever you choose. The Hawk, is that's Bosk's ship, isn't it?
Ooh,
The Hound's
that's a bit nice. That looks like an actual spaceship.
It does look like a spaceship. Can you afford that one? The Hawk light freighter?
Yeah, it's only like 70,000.
70K.
Is it big enough for all of you to fit in it?
Looks pretty tiny.
Passengers 2.
Oh yeah,
really.
it's not big.
Oh, look at that. Chat says, looked up the Wayfarer. You can carry starfighters inside.
Yeah, but
I
it
suppose
looks
that's
so
true.
bad.
That's because it's so ugly.
I like this. I like the 720.
Roger, I vote 720. Take
Where's
a look.
that one?
It's 112,000 credits.
720. I'm trying to find where it is in the book.
The stats aren't in the game, are they, for that one? No.
I don't even see the 720.
Has a Class 2 hyperdrive with a Class 15 backup, twin light laser cannons, crew 2, passengers 8, cargo capacity 135 metric tons, 2 months of consumables, heavily armored, lightly armed light freighter.
Does it say where it is?
No, I'm looking on Wikipedia.
Oh.
I mean, we could call it a Class 720 freighter. Just reskin the Falcon as a Class 720.
That's true.
freighter.
Yeah. And we can look up in between this also.
That's true.
We don't need to get
It's
hung
kind
up
of
on
like-
trying to find the stats.
It's
for it.
a bit like if they moved bits around on the Falcon and put the cockpit in the middle, and it's got nacelle powered engines, which are always cool because Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
The YV 560 looks kind of cool.
Right.
And that's 120,000. That is just
560.
within budget.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that's a winner.
There. Yeah.
Yep.
I'd buy that for 120,000 credits.
What's it
Oh,
called?
yeah.
The YT 560 light freighter.
Oh,
If you've
YT.
got
I thought you
this-
said YV.
I thought you said YV.
Oh, sorry,
too.
YV. Sorry,
Okay.
He did say
Yeah, it is
YV. Okay.
It's page 101 of Starships and Speeders. If you've got that one, Matt.
I don't have that one. I have to pick that book up.
It's pretty smooth. It's got a similar.
Ooh.
It's a Carillion freighter, so it looks similar to the Falcon, but
Ooh,
But
that's a nice
better.
looking ship.
I
Yeah.
think that looks pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
do
let's
too.
have one of those.
Yep,
Okay.
settled.
That
So
are
the-
not happy with this. They're like, no, you get the functional ship. We don't care what it looks like. You get a ship that's functional. And we're like, no, we want a pretty
With a
ship
gonk
in nice
droid.
colors.
What's
So-
gonna look badass?
Let me ask you
Can
this.
it be red so it goes faster?
Whose ship is it? Let me ask you that. So out of the group here, we got three of you.
I would guess mine because I can actually fly.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
fine with that. I am
Absolutely.
nothing.
Unless
Come
it's
on.
the Gonk droids.
So who did you take a loan out from, or who did you steal this from? Who? How did you get this ship? You owe somebody for this ship. So who or what or how did you acquire the ship? And is somebody after you for it? I guess we should look at your obligation before we do that. We can get into obligations before we do that, because the two of you would need to come up with your obligations, and then this might tie into your obligation. Obligations. I believe you can roll for randomly on tables, or you can just select them on your own. Like if you wanted yours to be your clone thing, Aaron, that could be your obligation.
Mhm.
Or we could throw it out to chat and see if they've got any ideas.
Based off what you made, yeah.
But they're all
Shit.
horrible people, so
They
we don't
are.
necessarily want to listen to them.
So the obligation table is on page 39 of Edge of the Empire for Roger and Aaron. You don't get to
Oh,
do one,
sorry.
Ben, because you're a Jedi.
So I think his obligation is probably duty bound. He still feels duty bound to the Republic, and he feels that Palpatine has subverted that in the creation of the Empire. So he is a budding young revolutionary. Well, old revolutionary.
A budding old revolutionary. Very good. You get to choose a morality, though, Ben, on page 50 of Force and Destiny. If you want, you could just roll a D100 and let the dice determine what that looks like. You get an emotional strength and an emotional weakness.
Okay, let me go into the biography and we'll start thinking about those.
Right, what page were obligations on? I was too busy
Obligations are
looking
on
at
page
blasters.
39 of Edge of the Empire. There's the table there.
39.
So you can roll randomly. We can ask chat, or you can just select one. So Aaron took duty bound.
Dan says Roger stole it from a gang.
I think that's fair. I think so too.
So
Black Sun.
So remember, I roll obligation at the beginning of every session, and it's possible someone's obligation might come up, or nobody's obligation will come up. But when it does come up and I roll it randomly, it's going to be surprised. That means you select duty bound, something tied to your duty bound obligation will be part of the story that session, or come back to haunt you, or be an obstacle for that adventure.
There you go. Roger now stole it from the Pikes, apparently.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of an oath for the retaking of Mandalore.
Look at this. This is the way. This is the way. An oath. All right.
Where do I put in what my obligation is?
I just put it under biography, and then at the bottom of that page is your obligation number. So mine's 20, 10 base plus 10 for the extra credits, right, Matt?
Correct.
Yeah, so mine's 20.
I think I'm on Roger's sheet rolling. Your heavy blaster pistol. Okay, cool. So we have our obligations. Ben, you get morality.
Yes, I've got a morality of 29.
But you get to choose an emotional strength and emotional weakness, or roll them randomly. What do you want to do?
Okay.
Page 50 of Force and Destiny.
I don't have any of the books.
Shall we
I
roll?
might have to be rolling randomly.
All right, roll me a D100.
I reserve the right to go, no, I hate that.
Yes. All right.
Hold on, it's been a while since I've had to roll human dice. The size of that beast. D100. 96.
Oh. So your emotional strength is discipline. Rigorous mental and physical discipline comes naturally to your character. They do not make choices rashly, and every action is precise and selected. Those who think they can goad the character into making foolish choices are sorely mistaken.
Works. Yeah, I'll stick with that.
So the way morality works is I can put triggers into the session that'll trigger your morality, and then you're forced with a morality option, and you're rewarded for going in the direction of the morality you rolled. So the flip side, though, your weakness is obstinance. Disciplined characters may fall into the trap of simple stubbornness if they are not careful. An obstinate character often refuses to consider any course of action other than the one they choose, unwilling to accept that someone else may have conceived a better option. So that's your flip
Which
side.
makes sense because
Yeah.
they're lesser beings. They're not Kaminoans. They don't know what it takes to survive. They are literally a people bred for superiority, whereas they mate. Ooh.
So you're going to be faced with conflict, morality conflict throughout the game. I'll throw things at you to put that in check. Okay. So many books. Very good. So we've got that done and out of the way. So we can go back to the questions now that we have that figured out. So, Roger, you own the ship. Who or how or why? Where did you get the ship from? And are they after you? Do you just owe them money? Are they gangsters? Are they a clan? What is this?
Well, my thing was actually oath to retake Mandalore. I figure it was a gift from one of the Mandalorian clans, who at some point will call on me to honor my oath and go to their aid.
All right, you'll be pulled away. So it was a gift, but with strings. All right, I like it. How did you all meet? We are a ragtag bunch. How did you all meet?
I think maybe my character heard about Ben's character traveling, and because of his true hatred of the Kaminoan people after what he feels they did to his people, he was hunting him down because he was going to confront him for what he considers to be the fall of the Republic. But then realized when he found out that Ben was actually a clone himself.
Not only that, but not traveling, but traveling in a vat.
Yeah. And he was extremely conflicted by all of this. And he's decided he's decided that he's going to travel with Ben's character to try to really evaluate whether or not his entire species should be wiped from the galaxy. Because that's his mindset right now. He's like, they caused the fall of the Republic. They're responsible for the death of the Jedi. They should be wiped out. So now he's very conflicted because Ben is also a clone like him. So now he's like, maybe I need to rethink this.
So maybe Roger was contracted as a Mandalorian and therefore trustworthy to ship my character from Kamino to Mandalore for training by this secretive Kaminoan Jedi on Mandalore.
See,
and I was literally cargo. Go on then, Rog.
That I was actually paid to hunt down Aaron's character. Aaron's character being a deserter of the Empire. The Empire paid me to hunt him down and take him out. But when I did track him down, the firefight started. But while we were shooting at each other, a squad of stormtroopers turned up and started shooting at both of us.
And we had to take him out.
During the fight, I got hit. The clone trooper spared me. And given that the people paying me tried to kill me, that's breach of the contract. And the clone saved my life. And I felt honor bound to save his at some point.
I like it. And so he would have known about how I felt about Kamino after, all of that. Then you get contracted to take this clone back to Mandalore. And you contact me and I join with you. And that's when I have my own little revelation.
Yeah. And I was literally just cargo.
Yeah. Asleep.
For the two of you. And then something goes wrong with the cargo containment and the vat gets switched off and I have to be popped out of the cooler. And then, of course, the galaxy all goes to shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome, that works Jim. For me.
Hello.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim.
We're figuring out group connections here. How everybody knows each other, why they're traveling together, how they met and stuff. What's your character concept?
I was going to be sort of a broker in information sort of thing, so to speak, sort of play sort of the middle ground. And then he made sort of a duty sort of promise to his brother who died that he would serve the rebellion or what becomes the rebellion.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, the rebellion, I guess at this time is more like guerrilla freedom fighters, like Saw Gerrera that we see in Rebels and briefly in Rogue One. So yeah, okay, you're at the beginnings of the rebellion. That's what's going to be the rebellion in the future. Okay, cool. But you're kind of more of a terrorist at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
We call ourselves freedom fighters.
Yeah, there you go, freedom fighters.
Yeah.
What species were you looking at playing?
I think I'm going to go human. I'm going to keep it simple and go human.
All right, human. Not even Corellian, just human?
The
only thing, Corellians give you bonuses to flying because they go lean heavily into that Han Solo build. You don't have to take Corellian.
No, I'm just going to be a basic human.
Okay, very good.
So we got 3 humans, a Kaminoan, and a Gonk droid.
Well, yeah. One's a clone.
I mean, technically, we've got a Mandalorian.
A Mandalorian.
And a human.
A Mandalorian, a clone. Well, 2 clones.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
I'm getting to use my book. I've never used it before.
So
I bought it on Roger's Say So a while ago.
You won't regret it. I bought all of them. I got suckered in. Okay, so we figured out how the group of you met. So why are you traveling together after you've kind of met and you're kind of at odds with one another? Or at least you started that way. So why have you continued to group up and continue doing what you're doing? And what are you doing in the galaxy? Like, what is... You all have your personal missions, but what are you doing as a group?
So I'm traveling with the clone, as like I said, he saved my life, so I have to save his at some point as part of honor. And he wants the Kaminoan around to establish whether he wants to kill them or not.
Yep.
And as a Mandalorian, that attitude speaks to me. So I'm quite happy to have this Kaminoan around. And as soon as the clone says, you know what, let's shoot them in the head, I'm in.
So we're doing, yeah. And I mean, my guy would be focused on guerrilla warfare. He's looking for ways to hurt the Empire in any way he can, disrupting supply lines, stealing their cash, so he's a one-man rebellion. He's old man clone trooper out there to stick it to the man. And but of course, you got to make some money. So you got to also keep flying.
I'm in it for the credits. So if the particular rebellion mission involves stealing something valuable, I'm there. But I'm still taking bounties on the side because that is how I pay my way. I am a bounty hunter.
And he would be ZX would be more than happy to help out with that because he sees this growing partnership as an opportunity to become the core of a rebellion cell.
Although I am ever on the lookout for Beskar.
Of course you are. You gotta earn that Beskar. I'll dangle it in front of you like a carrot on a stick. Every chance I get.
Well, I mean, he's been raised with tales of, how glorious the stuff is and how it's a true substance of Mandalore, but because he was too young at the time of the outbreak of the Clone Wars, he wasn't fighting at that point. So he didn't get the Beskar before Mandalore fell.
So it's safe to say that the group, like, while you all have your individual goals and what you're working towards, there is an overlap somewhat of why you're decided to band together. Be it, you're studying one another to kill each other, or you're honor bound, or you're just a soldier looking for a fight and you respect how the others handle themselves on the battlefield. Does that sound about right?
It sounds about right to me.
This is all new and exciting to me. It's like, wow, this is great. Look, the universe is so big. I've been in maybe really 3 rooms in my entire life. And now suddenly we're jetting around in space, looking at whole planets.
Yeah, and my clone trooper is just really conflicted because, he's helped raise an entire generation of clone soldiers. So he knows what Ben's character is going through and he wants to help him. At the same time, he really wants to kill him. He's very conflicted.
Order 66.
Order 66.
Yeah. Yep.
So I know it's obvious some of you belong to groups or affiliations and things like that. So we know, Roger, you're a member of Death Watch.
They're like Bo-Katan's branch thereof.
You belong to a cult, essentially.
Yeah, I'm very much. Yeah.
Jim, is it safe to say that you belong? We'll call them the Resistance at this point. They're not quite the Rebellion yet. You're a member of the Resistance.
Yeah.
Does anybody else belong to an organization or group like Black Sun or trade guilds or work for the Hutts or anything like that?
Bounty Hunters Guild as well.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
If possible, because I want to be sort of, even though I'm working for the Rebellion, I'm doing it because of a forced oath to my brother. So I'm not happy about doing it at the time. But
so you're kind of a rebel on the side.
An information broker. So with the Hutts or something.
I'll go for one of the cooler gangs than the Hutts.
Yeah. Well, anything like that. Some underworld business.
Okay.
Ikes or the Black Sun, Crimson Dawn, good shout. Yeah.
Crimson Dawn, yeah. Or either. They're all good. It's Star Wars.
Exactly. I agree. Let me ask you this. Do any of you have any enemies that might be currently tracking you through the galaxy you may want to avoid? Not necessarily someone who's trying to kill you, but it could be a debt you've got outstanding. It could be someone you wronged on a planet.
I mean, yeah, he's my guy's obviously a deserter from the clone army and has made it his business to disrupt the Empire. So I've got to figure that, Roger's character found him because of a bounty the Empire already has out on him. So I'm fairly certain that I'm at least a low-level thorn in the Empire's back at the moment.
I'd like to be I'm not just angered one person, but an whole organisation, so to speak. Got some information off them that obviously they didn't want to lose. So yeah, I don't mind a group not liking me.
Okay, so like a whole organization. It could be okay. I like that.
Yeah,
I'll play with that.
And I'm an abomination that should not exist.
Yeah, I was gonna say the chat even. Dan said Inquisitors. It's true. It is gonna be the Inquisitors when they learn about you. They will come hunting.
But like the Empire, when they destroyed Camino, didn't want there to be survivors.
Yep.
Technically a survivor of Camino.
So you're an outcast also, yeah.
Yep.
No matter where you go. And you really stand out with your
Yep.
dead
Being
emotionless
8 feet tall.
expression. Yes.
How long has Ben been about?
Few days.
Yeah.
Could I have sold someone some false information about Ben, saying that he had died, or I mean, how long have you been in stasis for, or where have you been?
How long is this since the fall of Camino?
Ooh, I don't know. When did the fall of Camino happen?
That's
Wikipedia.
right at the end of the Clone Wars. So
Right at
quite
the
a
end of the
while.
Clone War.
All right, and this
Yes.
is what? It was, what I say, it was 19 years between episode 3 and 4, and we're about
Yep.
15 or 16 years into that 19-year gap. So
it's been like 15
16
years.
Yeah.
So you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Thanks. Or I was sent to scout if there were any sort of survivors, or just to give us a link in character or something. I don't know. But,
Like maybe you didn't sell them false information. You sold them true information that there was a survivor from Camino. And that they are out there in the universe. And you've met me after that and been like, yeah, okay, that was a bit of a shitty thing to do.
So you were the one that sold me the information to find Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Give me an information broker. Yeah.
And you found the information about this Camino clone experiment? I like it. Okay, it's coming together.
So I'm
making notes. Sorry,
I've only been awake for a few days, but
you've been in stasis for like 15 years.
Been in stasis for like 15 years, and that's why the stasis tube is powered down.
That makes sense. Yeah, that was the only day that my character toasted the Empire when he heard that they destroyed Camino. He was like, "Oh, they did one thing right."
Finally. So I'm just looking at Discord here, and I see that Pete has confirmed that they'll be playing a Gonk droid.
That's awesome.
We're getting a Gonk droid.
We affix some ship weapons to said Gonk droid. Since they're basically a big battery, and they can afford to power ship-sized weapons, can't they?
Yeah, of course.
Gonk droid. This will be great.
I like how he's disguised as well. That's great. That is. I like that.
Yeah. It's a good concept. All right, so we've got our ties, groups or people who are after you. Is there anybody after your character, Roger, or an organization that might have interest in you, or a quote-unquote enemy?
Not to the same extent as the others, but
Okay.
I can't imagine the Empire would be very happy with him that he voided the contract to kill the clone.
So far, nobody is a friend of the Empire in this group. That's okay. Good.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any dark secrets that they don't want the others to know about?
I think my character would have, before Roger tracked him down, he had tried himself to track down a handful of Kaminoans and executed them when he found them for their crimes against the galaxy. And now that Ben's woke up and he's starting to feel conflicted, and he doesn't want, because I mean, it wasn't a fair fight or anything. He just walked up and put a blaster bolt through their head, kind of thing.
Anakin.
Yeah, he's just
Anakin.
It's an old soldier. So I think that would be something that he's no longer feeling quite as proud of as he was when he was doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. And you definitely don't want Ben to know about this at this point?
Yeah, he would not want Ben to know about this at this
Anybody
point.
else harboring any secrets you wouldn't want the others to find out about?
No, I'm just a low life anyway. So yeah, so my whole life is just a bag of shitty things, really.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Very good. Very good. So we got our ship. We've got some motivations. We got connections. We got some secrets. We got enemies. We got obligations. We've just got about everything I think we need to set this up. Now we got to play the damn game, is what we got to do. But I think I've got a good basis here to go off of. Is there any sort of starting planets or space that you would all be in? I know we've got a map of the galaxy here in the game on the landing page. Like, would you be in Hutt space? Would you be on the outer rim? Would you be on the mid rim, the inner, the colonies? Whereabouts do you think you would all be, kind of like when we pick up, and what would you have been doing last?
Well, are we all together when we pick up?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that you're all starting together. You have this ship, you've met one another, and you're traveling together.
I think would we be on the border of the expanding Imperial space, like just sort of hitting and running? Yeah,
probably somewhere near Mandalore, I'd guess. Given we've got a lot of connections to it.
I was like, is Mandalore on this map? It probably is.
It is. It's up in the top right.
Ping it for me. Hold the left mouse button.
I don't know if that's pinging or not.
No,
you might have to zoom
there it
out.
Is. It's right. I can't ping it either. It's between the Hydian Way and just southwest of the Gordian Reach.
Yeah, if you come out from the deep core, you go up from the deep core to the edge of the colonies, and then you go right out from there. On the edge of the mid-rim, just beyond, you've got Wayland, Findar, Garros 4, and then Mandalore is in between the three of them.
Gotcha. I can't ping it either. Okay, but I do see it there. Perfect. I see it. So we can... Okay, so I know where we're starting. We're starting in and around Mandalore.
Yep.
Good region of space. Oh, Yavin's over there. Dathomir. Ooh.
It's all right. I'm sure nothing significant will happen there.
No,
yeah. No, Yavin, it's a little...
Yeah,
Dathomir, Yavin, those are totally safe places to take an open-minded Force user to.
Exactly. Oh, Dathomir, I mean, for sure. The Night Sisters would love to get their hands on it.
Right?
Matt, have you set a character up on Foundry for me?
Yes, so there's...
I think you're person number 4.
You're player 4. You should be able to see that.
I know, I can't select that user.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've got Game Master, Aaron, Ben. I can select Pete.
To get into the game. Just be Pete. Just log in as Pete for now.
Oh, bonk.
Yep. Log in as Pete. Okay, well that's it for what we have today for character creation in session 0. We got our ties, our characters created. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for when we're going to play it. If you are not a member of the Discord, you should join it, because that's where you'll find out when we're going to play Star Wars next. We're actually going to see these characters in action. This group who secretly hate each other and want to kill one another play their first session. But I'm excited because this is a very cool group that we've assembled here. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
I spent all my experience points. I spent a whole bunch of money. I'm well outfitted.
Very good.
I have no money. I've got the clothes I'm wearing, and that's it.
That's it. What else is on Garblight Games this week? What's happening tomorrow in this time spot?
Tomorrow, in a slightly earlier time spot, because we're starting at 8, there's going to be a little bit of Wrath and Glory, a tier 2 mission to duff up some mutants.
Nice.
And tomorrow in the North American evenings, we're continuing Delta Green, where we're all going to go insane and die.
Yes, we are.
Friday? Is there anything streaming on Friday?
Nothing online at the minute. Is there? I'm wrong.
It's a Halloween one shot, right? Isn't that this Friday?
Yeah, that's right, Jim. Or is that actually on Halloween?
No. That's Lewis. Lewis is running Monster of the Week. Monster of the Week.
Yes, that's right.
And I think that's it. There's nothing this weekend, right?
Yes.
That's it for this week. All right. So lots of variety. Thank you for joining us and sitting with us and chatting Star Wars with us in the chat. We appreciate it. And if you haven't joined the Discord, get on the Discord. You'll find out when we're actually going to play this. It's going to be a semi-regular game. It's going to be a lot of fun because I'm going to kill these guys. No, wait. Oh, okay. Have a good night, everybody.